Hey guys, this is part 3. I just wanted to get into some more of the what I consider to be necessary to survival areas of whether you need to work on them or memorize them or whatever the case may be. This is not an all-inclusive list like any of my videos. If you have any questions, if you have any comments, please leave them down below. If you see something I forgot, put it down below. I can't think of everything, right? So this is going to be a great discussion for all of us. But let's get into it. The next part of my areas of survival is tools. Okay, tools being, your knife or knives. Okay, I would suggest everybody carry at least 2 knives. They say that you've heard this before a million times if you've been watching anything, and that 2 is 1 and 1 is done. So, knives. Okay, you're gonna probably want some sort of saw, whether that be a folding saw, a buck saw, a bow saw, a hacksaw with no handle, whatever the case may be. You're going to want some sort of saw probably in order to process wood. It's easier and safer than it is to use an axe for everything. But that brings me to axes. Everybody's axe is going to be different, what they like: short, long, medium. Please, though, remember, with your knives, saws, axes, any of your tools, please know how to use them. You don't want to mess with that axe and chop half your foot off. Okay, you don't want to mess with that axe and hit yourself in the shin. You don't want to mess with that axe and split your knee if it's a short one. So definitely you want to use axe safety. You're going to want to learn how to do that, because that's not something that you just automatically know. Okay, a shovel. Another tool would be a shovel. Either the little bitty ones, the fold-up, army type shovels, the long-handled shovels. Depending on whether you're in a car or whether you're in a bug-out bag, you're going to want shovels. Okay, a pry bar. Okay, you're going to need a pry bar probably. They have you can get a little small one to put in your pack if you want, and that could be very helpful, and it could save using any prying with your knife, because that knife is something you really need. I would much rather do any damage to a pry bar than I would my knife, so I'm going to have a little pry bar. I've got one about yay long. It's a little flat bar that I'll be putting in my pack. It's not on my other videos though, because I just found it. You might want a pry bar like a crowbar, okay? Depending on what you're going to be doing. So, and it depends on if you have a car or not, or if it's at your retreat location, or if it's at your home. If you've got a car, you can take a lot more gear if you have to bug out. Of course, the best thing is to stay home, but if you can't, you've got the whole trunk of your car and probably the whole back seat too, depending on the size of your family. Or if you're in a pickup truck, you got the whole bed of the pickup truck. Or if it's a van, you got the whole pack half of the van. If you're bugging out in an RV, well, you've got a house on wheels. You don't have to pack it full of stuff, because it's already got that stuff in there, except for a few things. You're going to need probably, now, I don't have these, and I'm not probably ever going to get them, and that's a lockpick set. A lot of people say you got to learn how to pick locks, and you get that clear lock and learn how to do it. Well, in an shtf situation, if you've got a crowbar, you don't really need to pick the lock. Okay, if you've got a good pair of wire cutters or a pair of bolt cutters, and you just cut through the fence, you don't have to worry about that big heavy lock and gate. Just cut through the chain link. If it's a wooden fence, just kick the wood slats off. Locks only keep honest people honest anyway, but don't be breaking into nobody's place unless you are prepared to die, first of all, because there could be somebody in there waiting to shoot your head off. Okay, don't be breaking into somebody's place unless it's a truly shtf situation. Okay, if it's a matter of survival and the world has gone to crap and pandemic has killed 3/4 of the people in the United States, there is no government, there is no law, there is no army. You do what you have to do to survive. I'm not saying go break into stuff, because that's not what I'm about. And if you break into some place and that person has gone foraging for some wild edibles, and you come back and you've taken all their stuff, you've killed them. Okay, so you got to keep that in mind. You don't want to be killing other people, because I don't know about you, but I don't want to go to hell for murder. And if you take somebody's survival gear from them, you're murdering them, unless they're really, really super, human. He-Man kind of can build a house with a pocket knife and a Q-tip, whatever. You don't want to be doing that unless there is no other option. Okay. You need some sort of you know, like I said, a hacksaw, a multi-tool. That thing is really handy. It's got little screwdrivers on it, pliers, everything you need. You might want to consider a snow sled of some sort in case it's wintertime for your tools. A come-along, or ratcheting tie-down straps, or both. Safety glasses, of course, with a case, and snow glasses with a case. Because if you're not using them, you don't want to throw them in your pack. They'll get tore up, they'll get scratched up, they'll get messed up, and then where are you? You want to, any of your glasses or eye protection needs to be in a case of some sort to keep them from getting ruined. Whether that be goggles, snow goggles, safety glasses, eyeglasses, sunglasses, anything. If you want to keep them nice, have a case for them. You know, you want to consider having a chisel and a punch, a file, you know, or maybe even several of each. Bolt cutters, you know, you can get the little short ones you can put in your pack up into the great big long ones that you can put in the trunk of your car. Now, keep in mind, some places in the United States, if you're running around with lock picks and bolt cutters in the trunk of your car, you could get arrested, okay? I don't know where that is, but I heard stories somebody got arrested because of that, and they didn't actually break in it anywhere, okay? But he had the tools for burglary, so that's something to be aware of. Now, as far as the next item up for business is navigation, okay? First of all, you pretty well know your area, or most likely know your area. So you know where the highway is that'll take you north out of town, or where, you know, the road is that goes towards the river, or you're going to know your town fairly well, okay? Depending on the size of the town. You can also, that's why you have maps, okay? You need some maps that are weather resistant, at least. Now, a really, really good trucker's atlas will have all those maps in it. Now, that atlas is heavy. It's like yay thick, okay? I had an old one. So what I did is I cut out the state I'm in and the surrounding area and folded them half, put them in a Ziploc baggie, and put them in my pack. And I threw the rest away because it was very old. But it's going to show all the major highways. It's going to show all kinds of information. And it's big, you know, big sheets, so they're easier to read. It's not like a big fold-out map like what you can get online or at a store. But now keep in mind, if you're traveling and shit has not hit the fan yet, a lot of times you can get a free state map at your welcome centers at the state lines. They sell it, they give them to you for free a lot of times, a map of the state. There's also other things in the state at those welcome centers that you might want to consider, is they have the different attractions and brochures for different things. Well, some of those are state parks, national parks, things along those lines, which might be a good place for you to go to. You might want to consider that. So for navigation, you might want to look at something like that. Compass. Okay, I would suggest at least 2. Everybody says the MC2 compass is like the bomb. I don't have one. I don't know. I'm going to take their word for it. I have a lensatic compass. It's kind of a cheaper one. But I'm going to be navigating by mostly the stars and the sun. Because you already know, sun comes up in the east and goes down in the west. That gives you 2 directions right there. The rest is extrapolation. Okay? You need to know where the North Star is. That's something you need to study so that you know where it is. If you know where the North Star is, then you know which way is south, west, and east, okay? It doesn't help you in a cloudy day, mind you. But on a clear night, if you know which way you're going that way. Now, having navigation is great, but if it's a serious shtf situation, where are you going? Okay? Are you heading to Aunt Mabel's house in Colorado? Okay, you just have to know which way is Colorado. You're going to eventually come across a road. You'll see a road sign. You'll be able to look on your map and say, oh, there it is. Or I got to go this way. I doubt you're going to be going the entire way across a state or a county or anywhere and never touch a road. That's going to be pretty hard to imagine. So definitely want your road maps. But it's good to know how to navigate by the sun and the stars. Okay? You got to know, you know, the sun is easy, but the stars are a little harder, but it's really not that big of a deal to find out. It's not that hard to learn. Okay? Medical and hygiene. You're going to have several medical kits. You're going to have a trauma kit. Okay, and in there you're going to have things like your blood clot, your splints, your tourniquets, your pressure bandages, your sutures or staples if you need it, if you think you need them, wound flush, antibiotics, pandemic items with your gloves, your N100 mask. Everybody says N95. I'm going to say N100. Okay, you need good masks. Okay, you might want to have a Tyvek suit in there. You might want to have a pandemic items like that, like plastic sheeting and tape to seal off or seal in disease or whatever the case may be. You know, what if Joe Schmo is sick and there's a pandemic going on? Nobody wants to go in there with him. You can seal him in with plastic. It doesn't, not going to be very effective, but you could do it. You might want to consider a carbon air filter. Okay, so that you can get fresh air, but it has to run through a carbon filter first. Bleach, you know, but like I said, bleach only has a shelf life of so long, so you want to get some pool shock. Okay, you may or may not want a gas mask. Chances of needing a gas mask is slim to none. Okay, you're most likely going to need something like a smoke hood in case there's a forest fire than you would ever need a gas mask. Okay, but if that's what you choose to have, then you'll need one of those. You're going to need a good boo-boo kit. Okay, and okay, let's get back to your trauma bag. You're going to need rolled gauze and gauze pads and things of that nature. You're going to need some sterile tubing, because if it's a really, really bad gash or something, you're going to need to put a drain in it so that it doesn't just fester inside. Okay, so you're going to need some sterile tubing. Okay. You need to go find and learn about trauma care. You know, you go to the Red Cross, talk to your best place to find out where is just talk to your local fire department. Ask them where they have classes on stuff like that. They can help you out with that. You know, you're going to basically, with your trauma kit, you're going to start with a good first aid kit and add to it. Okay. I am big on the medical in my bag. Real big. Now, for the boo-boo kit and your hygiene kit, we'll go with the boo-boo kit first. You're going to need Band-Aids, you know, like Neosporin. You're going to need antihistamine, bug bite meds, personal meds that you take daily, like aspirin or high blood pressure, anything of that nature. You might want some of that new skin or liquid skin. You're going to want moleskin, some sort of wound cleaner, alcohol wipes, iodine maybe. Iodine wipes, you need sunscreen, eye drops, okay, alcohol wipes, I might have already said that, anything you think you're going to need as far as medicine goes daily will go in, make your boo-boo kit and your personal hygiene kit the same kit. You can separate them, I guess, if you want, but like Tylenol and stuff like that, you know, you put that in with your hygiene, because your boo-boo kit's going to be bigger than your hygiene kit for the most part. Okay. Now for your hygiene kit, you know, Dr. Bronner soap is excellent soap. You can even brush your teeth with it. I don't think it would taste real good, but you could do it. But you can wash your hair, you can wash your dishes, you can wash your clothes. Dr. Bronner soap is a good biodegradable soap if you're worried about putting phosphates in the water. Okay. You can use camp soap. You can make your own soap, lye soap. Okay, you can take commercial soap. If it's a shit hit the fan SHTF situation, I've got a bar of soap in mine. It's just like, just take a commercial bar of soap. Now, I'm not going to bathe in the water that I'm drinking. Okay, you know, if you've got a car, you might want to consider having a solar shower. You might want to consider having a porta potty. Okay, so that you can have a loo to go in, so you can go to the bathroom, and then you dig a hole way far away from your camp and pour it all in there. Okay, even if it's a luggable loo or a hassock or whatever you want, you know, anything like that. Do you want to dig a hole every time you have to go tinkle? No, you might want to consider it if you're able to have a car in a bug out situation, having a portable toilet. Okay, you probably want one for your home or your bug out retreat, or even more than one. Okay, because you're going to want to be able to go to the bathroom there as well, right? You know, if you don't have any sort of a septic system or or an outhouse situation, you're going to want a porta potty. Now, you can get little hand washing stations too, if you're at your bug out retreat or something, that will drain into the porta potty. Okay, I've seen them online in their foot pump. Okay, you put clean water in there, and you can foot pump and you can wash your hands. Okay, washing hands is going to be huge for hygiene. Just keeping your hands clean is going to make a huge difference on whether or not you get sick. Okay, or if your hands get infected. Just use soap, wash your hands. Just wash your hands. That's 90% of where illness and disease comes from, is your hands. Okay. Now, another thing you can do, and a guy on YouTube by the name of Kayzee, Kayzee, he's a Native American, and I was on a live stream at Reality Survival and Prepping, and we got talking back and forth, and he subscribed to my channel. But it was about keeping clean. It was a matter of fact, it was a live stream about sanitation, and he mentioned boiled cedar, like cedar wood. Okay, and that's what Native Americans used to use to keep clean. Now, he said it makes them smell good, and it's an antibacterial properties, which should really help. Now, that's something you might want to consider remembering. There is boiling some cedar, chunks of cedar wood. I would think that the needles and the cedar berries or juniper berries and stuff, because juniper would probably do the same thing. Those would actually make good washes as well. It would definitely help with any smell issues. And you could wash your clothes in boiled cedar water. Okay. Bugs don't like cedar, so it might be a good way to keep insects off of you. Okay. Maybe that's what they used way back when to keep from getting eat up by ticks and mosquitoes, is they, used boiled cedar water. I'm not sure, because I didn't live back then. So, anyway, that's just part of the medical and hygiene. The next part is transportation. Okay, there's a lot of things that can be considered transportation. Transportation is your 2 feet. A bicycle. Transportation can be one of those little pull wagons. It could be a bicycle with a trailer on the back. It could be a motorcycle. It could be a car. It could be a shopping cart. It could be, one of those little grocery carts that people have to carry their groceries into their homes. It could be a wheelbarrow. It could be a motorhome or a vehicle of any sort. It could be a riding lawnmower. Okay. But if you have transportation, you may want to consider with the fuel. Okay. You'll want to keep it in good running order. You'll want to be able to fit what you want to take with you in it, which means you'll have to pack it in to see what fits. Transportation could be a set of snowshoes or a set of snow skis, depending on where you live and what time of year it is. If you live up in the frozen north, buddy, you probably have snowshoes already. But if you don't, it might be a good idea to get some. Okay. For somebody like me, I weigh 210 pounds. I would need probably 36-inch long snowshoes. Just keep that in mind. Different length of snowshoes for different weights and sizes of people. Because the heavier you are, the more you sink, which means you need a bigger footprint. Just keep that in mind. You got to have some way to get fuel for those. So you're going to need some sort of a siphon kit. They have something called a jolly tank. It's a collapsible gas can is what it is. You can put water or gas in it, but it's called a jolly tank. And you can roll that up and stash that in your car kit, and then with your siphon pump. And then if you get low on fuel and you have to go siphon gas out of something, it's there. You also need a funnel. Okay. For transportation, you're going to need your car kit. You're going to need whatever tools you feel necessary to keep the car up, to keep it running. You need a jack. You'll need your lug wrench. You need an air pump for your tires. You need a tire repair kit. You need extra antifreeze, maybe some slime. You're going to need extra motor oil and transmission fluid and things of that nature. Just, make a box in your car. If you're using your car, make a box of anything that needs to be in the car to stay in the car for upkeep to the car, especially in a bug out situation. Okay. I don't know that you should store extra gasoline in the trunk of your car. I don't know how about the heat with the sun beating down on that metal box. First of all, I'm sure it would stink up the inside of your car because that back seat's not odor proof. And for 2, I'm thinking that the fumes might end up being a fire hazard or an explosion hazard. But that's why I suggested the Jolly tank, because, you know, you just leave it empty, roll it up, put it in the back. If you need it, you've got a fuel container, okay, without it taking up a lot of room. That's the whole thing, because you're going to probably have, you might have your inch bag in there and all your other stuff. You know, a big old gas can might not be space efficient. So you definitely want to consider that. Now, as far as books or information you may need, you know, there's a lot of places on YouTube where you can get good information, like Learn Your Land. Okay, he does a lot of wild edibles and foraging and a lot of like stuff with mushrooms. And, you know, just go check him out. He's a pretty smart kid, man. Eat the Weeds is the name of another one, and it tells you how to identify the different things to eat. Daniel Lionheart, okay, he's on YouTube. I actually met him personally. He has a whole section on how to survive in the Sonoran Desert. Okay, like 25 videos. You know, you're going to want to bring something with you to read. I've got a very small, condensed, very small, little bitty Bible I'm taking with me. There's survival cards. You can get the survival cards, you know, that are also like a regular deck of cards. You can play solitaire and learn how to eat cattail, whatever. An SAS handbook. You might want to consider something like that. They got the little ones. They're kind of expensive, though. Survival type manuals. Okay, I've got some booklets on survival. I've got some booklets on how to make booby traps, which is what I plan on using as perimeter security for whatever bug out location I'm at. You usually find that stuff down at gun shows. So now maintenance repair. I've already done a maintenance and repair kit video, so you guys can go back and look at that. I don't need to go all over all that stuff again because it's all in detail in that particular one. The only thing that wasn't in there was the waterproofing and repair tech for a tent, which is why I put that in the first video in this series. Anyway, if you'd like, comment, and subscribe, share it with your friends. I prefer a thumbs up rather than a thumbs down. Check out my links down below for a coupon for an EMP shield unit. Anything that I might have missed or you think that I needed to put in there, let's have a discussion. Put it down below so that everybody has the benefit of everybody else's experience. That's the whole idea for this. I'm not monetized. I don't get paid for this. You know, it may be at some point I'll be monetized in the future, but right now I don't make a dime for any of this. And so everybody needs to pipe in and chime in their 2 cents worth on anything that I might have forgot, or maybe that you have that I don't, or, you know, whatever the case may be. It's good to put it down below. That way, if somebody comes along and they read through all this stuff and they look at it, they're going, oh, I didn't think about that 4-way key to get water. Or I didn't think about washing myself with cedar water, with boiled cedar water, okay? Or something along those lines. You know, everybody's got something to contribute is what I'm getting at. So please do contribute down below. And I appreciate each and every one of you. And please, you know, y'all come back and see me.